Hello, this is a continuation on the dimension. I'm sorry I was interrupted and had to stop the video and actually hit stop instead of pause. Where we were on the last video was talking about the trailing numbers, and what that means is if you have a dimension, and let me just I'm going to blow this up here. I'll just do it over here. I need to find a small dimension that I can do. Um, let's see here. Okay, this right here is a leading zero. Okay, if I click on this, it will not show that. Uh, if I go to dim style and I check off leading zeros, then as you can see, that goes away. Again, this is how your standards, if your assignment shows it like this is the way it needs to be shown. Same thing with feet and inches. If you've got something that is, let me change the setting here again to architectural, and I don't want the 0 feet. If I dimension, well, here we've got this right here. Let me bring it out a little bit larger. As you notice, is doing 2 inches, not 0 feet 2 inches. Okay, this also works the same on your angles. If you have an angle like this right here, you can have it to where if it's 30.0, it won't show the O and or the 0 or 0.1 degrees. It won't show the leading. That's what the trailing and leading is. Also on this one, I kind of jumped over is the prefix and the suffix. The prefix is if you want to put something before the text, it will show up on every dimension within that style. Prefix is before, so if I went over here and I changed the prefix to plus or minus, which the code is percent %P, and I hit OK, watch all of these dimensions. They all have plus or minus. Okay, so of course this one right here doesn't because it's on a standard. This one doesn't either. So the suffix, you could come in and if you wanted to put say a foot mark after something, you could just come over here and just put the foot mark and everything that any dimension would show a foot mark. Unfortunately, I've got some inches over here, so they're not going to show up exactly right. But understanding that these are all your settings for that. Alternate units and tolerances we won't be going into. The fit is probably the most confusing one because this is where if you have a dimension that's very tight like this, how that works, whether the text is outside or the arrowheads are outside. I will tell you that many of the times just working with them in here, placing the text manually will actually allow you to move it to where you want it to be. Another thing to remember when you're dealing with dimensions is just what I'm doing here. When I highlight it, I can grab this grip and move it down to wherever I want it to be. Okay, same thing with this right here. If I wanted to make this larger, smaller, whichever I was doing, the grips have some power to them. If you click on them and highlight them, like right here it says flip arrow. I can do that without going into the dim style. So the grips have extra little options for you. If you see here it doesn't. You come down here and you can stretch it or flip the arrow if you want it to. But sometimes it doesn't. Here I could move this up if I wanted to. Here I could move it. So they do have certain options in dealing with the dimensions, and you want to get yours as close as you can to the assignments that I give out. And again, looking at this fit, it says if there isn't enough room to place both text and arrow inside extension line, and remember these are your extension lines, the first thing to move outside the extension line is either text or arrow. That's usually your default. You want to move just the arrows, you want to move just the text, you want to move both of them out, or keep them both between the lines, or suppress them if they don't fit. So you have settings to deal with. The same thing with the text. You could click it here and That way when you moved it outside, it would have a leader line to it pointing to the dimension line. Let me just kind of show you that real quick. Come over here to fit. So if I come over to this, as you can see, it puts a leader line out to it. So there's a lot of options in there. If you can't get your dimensions to look correctly, 99% of the time it's going to be in these dimension settings. Again, understanding where everything is at, understanding the terminology is the best way that'll help you. They already give you a guide here. If you know it's something with the lines, then you know it's in here. You don't have to go look. If it's something with the text that's not the right size or the precision or something, you know that it's right in here somewhere. Or if it's not placed correctly, you know it's going to be in here. So look over these. Again, I apologize for stopping that other video, but this will actually be the third video. I will renumber them. And that concludes this video. Thank you.